Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the last December daily video, days 21 through 25. So days 21 and 22, I start with 21 telling the story of Vlogmas. I realize I didn't include it in last year's December daily, and it's such a big part of my December. So I am trying to figure out how I want to include this chart. This chart saved my life during Vlogmas. You can see it's definitely lived through a few days, but it got me through all the videos, and this was the perfect day to tell the story because I wrapped up all the videos that day. Everything was done Monday the 21st. So I decide that I'm going to go ahead and stick it in this pocket. So I trim it down a little bit and then I fold it up so that it's basically like a 3x8 card, and then I end up sticking it in the pocket. I can take it out and look at it if I want to, but really it's more just kind of having it there, and the pocket is see-through so you can see the different pieces of Vlogmas. And now I'm kind of flipping through to pull out some things for both days 21 and 22, different cards and page protectors and whatnot. So then I go ahead and cut the photos. I did a bunch of 3x4 photos to tell the story of day 22, where I go over to my friend Brooke's house. Well, really not in her house. I'm sitting on her porch. She's got these amazing heaters that are able to keep everything warm. And she's got 2 couches that are 6 feet apart. And so we're able to sit outside and enjoy each other's company safely. So I went over there so that I actually needed to pick something up from her, but then we also went ahead and did our nails together. We both chose a different shade of red for the holidays, and we were just able to catch up and have some girl time, which was really nice. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. I really like that circle piece, the clear circle piece, although I'm not quite sure yet how I'm going to stick it down. And now I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I kind of want to use as decor on these pictures. I loved the way that I had things stored this year, but I do feel like I did a lot of digging around compared to years past. And so I do think once I get back to New York, I want to use those same containers I was using before, even though I liked the thing I brought with me to Chicago for convenience. I don't know that I'm going to continue to use it, at least for December daily. What I'll use it for is like back storage of stuff. So I'll use it for December daily when it's not December, and then kind of swap things out as the year goes on. So here I am writing the story of Vlogmas. I talk about how this was my favorite Vlogmas. I'm not sure why that is, but there were a lot of things about this Vlogmas that I really enjoyed, and how I really felt like I found my groove and there was one point that I felt kind of like I was drowning, but for the most part this year, I really didn't. And I really loved that. So here I'm trying to figure out how to kind of stick things down, because those clear pieces I normally staple, but there was no way to staple it and have it be the right size because it's wider than 3 inches. So it would stick out, and I wanted to be able to have it stick out. So I decided to go ahead and stick it down with tape on the outside of the page protector, and then that little star covered up that tape spot. I know I'm talking about something that's no longer on the screen. So moving on to day 22, all the journaling I do on this page is that little gray sticker that says Girl Time with Brooke, and then I stick this little 22 down on her sweet pup Otis, which I thought that he hopped up on my lap and it was just so cute. Another really simple day, not a lot of embellishments, just the number and a very small amount of journaling just to remember the day, and that's pretty much it. Moving on to 23 and 24, I had a lot of photos for these 2 days, and I'm again doing them at the same time, but they end up being really 2 full spreads for themselves. And I end up having plenty of space in the binder, which I will flip through at the end of this video. So day 23 is a super sad one. My family lost one of our family pets. My mom had 3 cats. She had these 2 black cats. They're brothers that we got when I was in high school. They were about to turn 14. Well, one of them still will. And we lost one of them. He was an old cat, and he ended up having kidney failure. So I wanted to do a day dedicated to him. And so I printed out a ton of pictures of both from when him and his brother were little kittens, as well as some more recent ones. The one in the top right on that left page is one that I took just a few days before, which I just really love that picture. If you didn't see on Instagram, I did talk about this on Instagram, but I wanted to dedicate this page to him. So I kind of am flipping through looking for stuff. I end up pulling out this little pleather piece that says Find Peace, and it was just kind of the perfect little sentiment. And then I'm not really using Christmas colors on this page. I'm really using more neutrals, keeping it very, very simple. except for those red felt hearts. Those kind of pop out. And I really love that because on the pictures of them as kittens, he was the one with the red collar. When they were really little, we could not tell them apart. It took a long time for us to really learn which one was which. So for the longest time, they wore those colors, and Rocky was the red one. And so I take a lot of time to rearrange the pictures, trying to figure out where I want things. I do it a lot based on where the embellishments are going to go. So I want, the red hearts to be separate from each other. And then I want the cards to be kind of separate from each other. And that's kind of how I decide what goes in what spot. I end up not using that felt star, the white one. I just use the felt hearts on those two pictures. I put the silver 23 on that picture of both of them. It kind of popped against their fur, which was really cute. That picture is also from right a few days before when they were cuddling. It was really cute. So I'm writing a story about our sweet Rocky and how we will miss him so much. It's a really hard time of year. Definitely it's never easy to lose a pet, but it was a really hard time of year to have everybody, all the siblings over on Christmas Day and to not have our sweet boy with us. But I'm glad that I was able to do this 2 full page spread dedicated to him. So then the 24th is Christmas Eve. And I talk about this a lot in the vlog that'll be up later this week, but Christmas Eve, we are just the adults. All my other siblings are with their other parents. And so it is just the 4 of us. And we typically go out for Chinese or some sort of Asian food to kind of like an homage almost to Sam's Jewish heritage and the way that he would spend Christmas with his family. Obviously, I'm very appreciative that he spends Christmas with my family. But this year we had to be a little picky on our restaurant selection. So we went to this Italian place in Lincoln Park called Cassidy's, which has these little greenhouses, which are just the cutest thing. So we had our own little greenhouse and it was cozy and warm, even though it was one of the coldest days in Chicago. So I'm trying to figure out here what I want to do with all of the extra pockets. I did use that one that said mealtime. It was actually a 4x6 that I cut down to a 3x4. And then I add the word dinner from this page of food type stickers. And then I am just keeping it simple. And I grab the puffy star stickers from that same sheet and kind of add it to a bunch of the different photos to kind of pull the 2 pages together. And then I finally am able to use that red pleather piece, that rectangle. I never end up using that gray one in any of my days, but I'll save it for next year. There definitely is a lot of carryover from year to year. So I'm just telling the story about our little greenhouse and spending the night just the 4 of us and how we actually ended up having this really awesome conversation kind of about the future. And they were giving us, like parenting advice. We're not parents, not yet, but it was kind of a really nice moment between the 4 of us. We really look up to my mom and my stepdad. So I really liked how those 2 pages turned out. All right, moving on to Christmas. So Christmas, I took a ton of pictures and had to really kind of narrow in on what I wanted to use. I knew I wanted to use this plastic 25 that came with the main kit, and then, or maybe not the main kit, maybe that was an add-on. And then I know I wanted to use that red 3x4 that says Christmas morning. And then I ended up pulling out the Here Comes Santa and Around the Tree, trying to figure out where I want things to go. I knew I wanted that 4x6 photo there. That was an easy one. And then I also got 2 more 3x4 photos, one of me and Sam, and then one of me and Rolly while we were sitting there waiting for everybody to come. And so I end up cutting a page protector down to have space for those 2 3x4 photos. I used to have some of those 3x8 page protectors with the 2 slots, but I used them all. And so I had to cut one for this. And then I got a bunch of little 2x2 photos printed, although it turns out some of them are not quite 2x2. I think my template that I use didn't quite work out. I use an app called PicStitch when I get these photo collages printed, and the 2x2 one is just a little bit messed up. So I need to fix that. But I still made it work, even though some of the photos were not quite 2x2. And then I did this last year and I really loved it. I took a big 6x8 photo and then I cut it into 2x2 squares and basically put it back together in a 2x2 page protector. Last year I did it with our family photo because that was kind of at the end of the holiday season. And so this year I did it with a big photo of our tree with all the presents under it. So you'll see when I flip this over how cool it looks with all of those photos there. I really love the way that it turned out. This is the same thing I did for Christmas last year. I did a 12x12 big photo cut up on the back And then on the other side, it's a lot of little 2x2 photos and embellishments, mostly photos of like presents that were given or received that I really like. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here, rearranging a lot. I end up deciding that I want that 25 there, but then I end up hole punching it. And then when I flip through, I don't actually like the way that it turns out. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So here I am trying to figure out which of the 2x2 photos I'm going to use. Again, some of them are a little bit smaller. So at first I wasn't going to use them, but I decided the pictures are more important than it being perfect, and being able to see the white space is totally fine. So now I'm trying to find what other embellishments I want to put on those other little 2x2 squares, trying to pull out some of the other things that I have that I haven't used yet. These little felt pieces. I love these little hexagon pieces. I'm trying to, just pull out other shapes that kind of fit into that space. I really have a hard time with these 2x2 page protectors. I really love the way they end up turning out, but I do struggle trying to figure out what to put there and how to make everything look right. I did more in last year's December daily. I think I ended up with like 3 total. And this year, this is the only one I had all month. So now I am trying to find some colored or some patterned paper to put behind some of those 2x2 embellishments, as well as the 25, the transparent 25 that's on the other side. So I end up pulling out some green and some red and then this kind of neutral color star. The green ends up looking good with the 25 and the little around the tree sentiment. I play around with a few other embellishments on the other photos, but end up, again, just kind of keeping it simple. There's something nice in the simplicity of it. So I do end up putting a little star on this 25 to be able to hide the tape piece that I'm going to put on the 25. Well, let me take that back. The tape piece that I thought I was going to put on the 25. The plan was originally to stick the 25 down with a piece of tape behind that to hide behind that little star. But when I stuck it down, it just didn't end up staying all that well. So it lasted for about 2 seconds. And then I decide that I'm actually going to punch holes in the 25 so that it'll stay there. So I line it up with one of the other page protectors and figure out, where the hole should go, and just use a hand punch to punch holes into the 25 so that I can stick it right there. So then I don't end up putting embellishments on any of the other pages. In fact, I also forget to write the actual journaling in this video, but I do go back and finish that later. So now I'm cutting up these other papers into little 2x2 squares so I can stick them behind those other embellishments. I can't remember what I did last year behind those embellishments, or if it was just clear on the other side. I don't know, but I like the way that it looks. It gives a little bit more dimension and allows me to add some little colors. So I move the pictures around to figure out, exactly how I want them to go down. Again, this is a combination of pictures of different gifts that were given or received. That one's like a picture of the wallet that I gave Sam that I really liked, but then some of them are gifts that I was given or that were given to Sam, like the picture of Sam's walk and his walk cookbook that my parents got him. So I just really, I like having pictures of all of these little gifts because that moment, that's not something that I vlog. And I really try to keep in mind, what can I document that didn't come across in the vlog when I'm doing kind of these December dailies. I know there's a lot of overlap. Obviously, some days there's only one exciting thing and it ends up in the vlog and in December daily. But for Christmas, I like having a lot of these pictures. I did share a lot of this on Instagram. I was pretty active on Instagram stories on Christmas morning. I mean, I'm there with a bunch of 20-year-olds who aren't going to be off their phone anyway. As much as I would love for us to be one of those families that completely unplugged on Christmas, we're just not. So I did post a lot on Instagram stories that day, but I end up kind of moving things around as I'm putting it in there. And sticking everything down. But I still really like how this design turned out. I think that this might be a tradition that I continue for all of my December dailies. So now it is time for a complete flip through from start to finish. So my intro page, I love that photo, my reason why. Day 1 is the Advent calendars, and then dates 2 and 3 kind of go together with all those hearts. Day 4 and then day 5 are all of my family photos. I liked that I did some outside of the page protector stuff, not a ton, but a little bit. 6 and 7, there's 8, 9 was very simple. 10 for Hanukkah, I loved the way that I did that. I didn't unflip that page if you missed that video. Day 11, 12 with those big felt numbers again, and then another outside of the page protector photo. And then 13 and then 14 are the holiday cards. I've been sticking holiday cards in there as I get them, and I will continue to do so because I'm sure a few are delayed in the mail. And then day 15, 16 and 17, they kind of go together. 18 and 19, I there was kind of a definite theme in terms of some of my days here with the 2 and 1 picture, the 3 pictures total. And then these are the ones that you saw. So 21, 22, I love that big green quote. 23, Sweet Rocky. And then Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I end up, you can see, filling in the journaling. I don't like that I have to flip the 25. I don't like that it's backwards before I flip it. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. I might end up stapling it. But that is a wrap. No pun intended.